Hi, this was Janice Seagraves. Um, it's kind of late and I'm tired, so I thought it might be nice just to read from one of my books. This one is Matrix Crystal Hunters. It's my bestseller so far. This is an old cover. The new one looks different than this. Um, this one is science fiction. I did the drawing, and it's about crystals on another planet, far, far away. Chapter 1. Maya Gladstone shifted in her chair as her commander and expedition leader, Ben Tyler, read her report. This is all you found? The V between his dark eyebrows deepened as he rested his elbows on a large, deeply carved, ironwood desk, a gift from the Zeman government. Maya leaned against the rich, wine-red cushions of the chair, another Zeman woodcraft product which had been made to go with the desk. Yes, sir. Taylor sighed. He moved his computer to the side of the desk and straightened in his black plastic seat, tugging down his pristine white uniform. No sign of the matrix crystals the natives told you about? Nope, it was another dead end. She glanced at a glass jar filled with eraser-sized crystals, which sat on one of the shelves on the whitewashed rock behind the commander's desk. There were several frames behind the jar containing pictures of Earth from orbit, awards and letters, and the photos of the commander's wife and children back home. The only ones I found so far are the few small crystals from a while back. Tyler swiveled his chair around, took down the jar, and set it in front of him. Our science team tested them. They said the crystals show considerable promise. They're natural batteries. Just close a connection and you have power. They tried these little ones with a watch and they worked great. But they need larger ones to work with. If you can find crystals the size they need, they'll be able to scrap the old fuel cells on the ship and install these. He closed his eyes and massaged his temples. That will give us a chance to get the hell off this planet. Are you okay, sir? She asked. Migraine. He exhaled slowly. We lost 2 more people yesterday. Dr. Ledger and Dr. Brown. With half the team incapacitated, we can't afford to lose even one more person. He stared at her a moment. We're dying here, Maya. I know, sir. Picturing the 2 scientists' face, Maya wiped away a tear. She had worked closely with both of them, bringing them samples as they all shared the excitement of studying a new planet. The Zeman government wants additional technology in exchange for their continued cooperation. But he demands more. We need to go back to Earth, removing the temptation of our technology from Zenavia, so they can progress on their own. We need to go home. He tapped the computer with his forefinger. Instead of gathering indigenous rocks, I am reassigning you this project. Find the matrix crystals at all costs. Yes, sir. She sat bolt upright in her chair. If there are any matrix crystals left that are big enough to help us, I will find them. Good. We're relying on you, Maya. He had faith in her, at least. She smiled as a thrill zinged through her. I have another lead. He raised his eyebrows. Where? Out in the great northern desert, near a dry riverbed. She picked up the jar and turned it so the rocks within it shifted around. As they clicked against one another, the crystals glowed orange. The Zeman I talked to said it had been their ancient mining operation. He is trying to find me a map, but he couldn't tell me whether they quarried the matrix crystal or some kind of ore there. I wish they still had their old technology. Things would be so much easier. You're not the only one to make that wish, Taylor replied. When are you going out again? First thing tomorrow morning, with or without the map. She set the jar on his desk. I'll need to buy supplies while I'm in town, and then head home to pack. Taylor smirked. Is that a hint you need currency? Yeah, sorry, sir. She clamped her hands together in her lap. My trips out aren't cheap. Tell me about it. Taylor rolled his eyes. He opened a drawer, took out a purse, and started counting out coins. Oh, and I need to pay my landlady, too. Taylor stopped counting to stare at her for a moment, making Maya feel like she had just asked her father for a raise in her allowance. He nodded and added more coins to the pile. Maya left with a bag of currency and a lighter heart. I'll be digging at a site again in just a day. Gone native, have we? Stared at Maya's clothes and stuck her nose in the air as she walked by, her own narrow white uniform skirt keeping her steps short. Native? Hell! We don't all live in this underground shelter. Deidre. Maya narrowed her eyes at the woman. She brushed at the layered brown homespun clothing which protected her from the heat. The nerve of the woman. Maya walked out of the base, taking in a deep breath of fresh air. While the underground complex was home to the 50 or so of the other members of the Earth Expedition Force, it always felt cramped and the recycled air smelled stale. You're going out there again, aren't you? Asked the man on guard duty, wearing military fatigues. Hi, Bobby. Maya smiled. Yep, tomorrow bright and early. She shook her bag of currency until it clinked. I'm off to buy supplies. You be careful, Bobby frowned. Tomorrow is a Zeman Hymalian night. She raised both her eyebrows. I don't even know what that is. Bobby snorted. And you live with one of them? Mama Rosa only tells me what she thinks I should know. Maya shrugged. I am studying the rocks and have no time to absorb their culture anyway, or any other than their language. You should make time so you don't accidentally stumble into something you might regret, he said with a hard edge to his voice. Her stomach clenched. Why? Did something happen? The elders of the village came and told us to lock up our women tomorrow night. A tight muscle in his a muscle tightened in his jaw. What? She stepped back. A Zeman suddenly appeared near the complex. Seeing them, he stopped, turned quickly, and plucked a leaf off a nearby bush. He began to study it, with giving Maya quick, sidelong glances. Bobby nodded toward the male. There's your stalker, right on time. Damn. Maya muttered, turning to stare at the Zeman. He was tall and dressed in the brown robes and tan undertonic traditionally worn by the natives. His long, gold hair hung down his back. I thought I got early enough this time. Bobby leaned toward her. Have you asked him what he wants? I've tried, but he heads the opposite direction when I approach him. The poor boy must be shy. She gave Bobby a sharp look. Hey, save your pity for me. He's the one bothering me, not the other way around. She checked her watch. Oh, shoot, I gotta run. Why, you got a hot date? He smirked. No, but I've got an appointment with someone. She tapped her watch. Same difference. No, it's not. This is business. He hung his arm through the rifle strap and smiled. Why don't you give me another chance? Why? She tilted her head. Are you tired of the women at the base? They're not like you, Maya. Nobody's like you. She gazed at her former lover, taking in his cropped hair, square jaw, and neat uniform. The scent of his cologne teased her nose, masculine and spicy. He smelled lovely, like home. But he had cheated on her, so she ended the affair. It was fun while we were on board the ship, but that was then and this is now. She gestured toward the desert. I have to be out there, and you want to be here. Would you really give up the comforts of the base to tramp around the desert picking up stones with me? Well, not really. He stood straight, his warm brown eyes large and appealing. You could live here with me and only go out when you need to. That's the problem. I need a partner more than I need a lover. I have to find the matrix crystal before the radiation kills us. She glanced at her watch again. Oh, I really gotta go. You be careful out there. I will. Bye. She started down the cement sidewalk. Don't forget the moves I told you. If anybody bothers you, you knock them on their ass. I'll remember. Maya turned to walk down the red dirt street. She could feel the Zeman following her. She passed the fence in an area where Alpha 3's spaceship still sat, out of power due to the damage done to it, while the crew had battled to prevent it from being dragged into a wormhole. Guards were posted around the perimeter to prevent souvenir seekers from making off with parts of it. Maya waved to the men and getting waves back before entering the street leading to the bazaar. She was soon surrounded by the loud shouts of the sellers and the aroma of exotic spices. She bought a cheap plain cloth tote at one place and started to work her way through the haphazardly pitched stalls in the square. Entering the map seller's tent, she gave a quick bow. Maya, how good of you to come! Largo greeted her warmly, his arms wide. You're right on time. She replied in the same dialect. Good. I was worried that I was late. Dropping his arms, he grinned, revealing even extremely white teeth which contrasted dramatically with his golden skin. Nonsense. Wherever you are, there you are. She moved deeper into the map seller's tent, stepping around cloth bags full of scrolls. Do you have the map I seek? Yes, but it was a difficult find. Largo pulled out a rolled-up parchment from a bag, then smoothed it down across a wooden table. He flipped his long golden braids back over his shoulder, and then busied himself setting small stones around the corner of the map to keep it flat. I should charge you more. No. She inspected the rocks, common sandstone. We already bartered. I will pay you 12 ducats and not a coin more. She stared at the map's torn edges and wondered if she was being cheated. It's an outrageous price at that. You humans have no bartering spirit. Largo glanced down at the map. I assure you, Maria, this is a map of the ancients, of the region you want to explore. He ran his hand down the parchment's surface and gently pushed a torn area back into place. That's what she liked about Largo. He loved his maps. Does it show where the mines were? This blue mark here is where the old Lononoko River used to run. His fingers traced down a wide, faded azure line. It's just a dried-up riverbed now. The red circle here marks the spot where the mine used to be. He raised his golden eyes to meet hers. I can't promise you that's where they mine the crystals you seek. Nevertheless, it is a strip mine a millennia ago, when the ancients walked this planet. That's all I need, a map that marks the spot. She smiled and reached for her pouch. Wait! He grabbed her wrist firmly. Maya jumped. Z-men don't normally touch each other. What? Do you intend to go out tomorrow? He looked concerned. Well, yes, why shouldn't I? Tomorrow is Hymelian night. You should remain at home behind locked doors. Him too? She frowned. It's not a night for attractive, unattached women to be out. Do yourself a favor and delay your trip by one night. I'm going to be out in the middle of the desert. I'll be fine. She jerked her hand back and started counting out the coins. Just don't say I didn't warn you. Fine, fine, you warned me. She added the last coins to the pile, then pushed it toward him. Our agreed upon amount. He bowed his head, gathered up the coins, dropping them into his money box. He then carefully rolled up the map. It has been my honor to find these items for you. When you have no further need of it, then it'll be my pleasure to buy it back. She smirked. At a significantly lower price. Of course, Largo smiled. I have to feed my 15 children and 3 wives somehow. Maya sighed and shook her head. Largo, you have no wives, and only a nephew who is nearly as hard to deal with as you are. Lying makes the bartering so much sweeter. Largo laughed, handing over her the neatly rolled and tied map. Also confusing. She put the map into her tote. Largo eyed the tote. Please take good care of that map. It is terribly old and fragile. Oh, you don't want me rumpling up the map when I put my groceries in my bag? Largo's mouth dropped open. You wouldn't. No, I wouldn't. She smiled. She laughed. I'll get another tote for my goods. She did a clubhouse salute. Cub Scout salute. No, I wouldn't. She did a Cub Scout salute. I promise. Narrowing her eyes, she asked, You sure you don't have a dozen more like this one hidden away somewhere? No, I always deal honestly with my clients. He tidied up the few maps on display. May I suggest you don't use any cook fires or light any lamps as to not draw attention to yourself? She backed toward the tent entrance. If it makes you feel better, I'll do that and go straight to bed too, Grandpa. Grandpa! Largo snorted. I'm not even married. I just want to keep my best client around so I can continue to enjoy bartering with her. I'll be back. She gave him another nod and hurried out the tent's door before he could give her any more cryptic warnings. As promised, Maya brought another cheap tote so she wouldn't damage her prize. Then she worked her way through the bazaar, buying supplies for the next day's trip. As she went from tent to tent, hunting down the few vegetables, fruit, and other types of food that she could digest, she caught glimpses of Zeman following her. She tensed. What does he want with me? She stalked completely around one of the tents to come face to face with him. Now's my chance. Why are you following me? What? I don't even know what you mean. He took a step back. Maya grabbed a fistful of his dark brown robe. Yes, you do. You've been dodging my steps the moment I set foot on your planet. She suddenly noticed that the young man was bigger than she thought. His chest was deep, his shoulders broad, his arms were larger than Bobby's, and he worked out. And here I am holding him by his clothes. He stared at her hand. I like you and want to get to know you. If you were one of my people, I would woo you. She realized his robe wasn't made of the rough, homespun fabric used by the common Zeman. Is he a clan lord? Maya loosened her grip on the silky material. Who are you? He moved back and swept his arms down in an elaborate bow. My name is Vach Nastami, and of the Nastami clan. It would be my pleasure if you'd remember it. With a flutter of his robes, he hurried away, weaving through the crowd. It wasn't until he had disappeared that Maya realized that he had been speaking to her in English. Vach finally reached the edge of the bazaar where he had tied up his steed. He patted its thick neck. Hi, Brawley. His mount woke up with a snort and then looked at his hand, demanding a treat. It was still standing in the same spot that he left it, and no one had bothered it. No one would dare touch a shireki, even this sleepy fellow. Reaching into his pouch, Vach dug out a sweet lump for his mount. Giving him the treat, Vach turned to see if the human female had followed. She hadn't. He felt disappointment. But she wasn't of his race and didn't understand the proper way to act. If she wanted him to woo her, she should have followed him. If she didn't, then she should have knocked him on his well-bred ass. just like the human guard had suggested. Vash had wanted this human female since he saw her step out of the spaceship on that astonishing day a year ago. Her blue eyes drew him closer. Her long red hair made him want to run his fingers through it. Her curves sent flames of desire flickering through his body. He had taken to coming into town regularly to stroll by the compound just to see if she'd be there. Today had been one of those rare good days when she was there to follow. He leaned a little more on he learned a little more about her each time. Now he knew she wanted to find something. If he knew what it was, maybe he could find it for her. Climbing up in the saddle, Vatch clicked his tongue to get his mount started down the dusty road to the Namaste bachelor compound. He contemplated his plan for Hymelian night. Vatch already knew from eavesdropping at the map seller's tent that Maya would be out in the desert all alone. And then he'd have his chance to have her. And that's the end of chapter 1. The Matrix Crystal. This is the first one. There's 4 in all. Thank you, and please ring that bell wherever it is, and please subscribe. I will try to do another one next week, and thank you for joining me.